long time no see. Today I'm going to talk about my hunt for a couple today. For some reason lately, I'm just like, I want to date a couple based on my experiences at the clubs and my experiences since. I realized I really like being intimate with two bodies at the same time, one woman, one man. And I was like, why don't I find a couple? The idea was the seed was planted with the second couple that I hooked up with at Miami Velvet, the Texan couple. They said that they had had a girlfriend, that they shared a girlfriend for like a year and a half or so. And I thought about that and I said, I think that would be nice. I think it would be nice to have an intimate relationship with a couple that's already strong, that's already been in the scene, and who knows the dynamics. They have their flow, they have their dynamics, and I can see if I can like fit in and swim the sea of life with them for a little bit or not. My name's Diana. I'm a 44-year-old single woman. I'm Iranian. I'm a spicy content creator. And I have this channel on YouTube where I talk about my dating stories and observations. If you want to chat with me a little bit more, I have an OnlyFans where I have more content of myself and where I chat with fans. So I didn't have many couples experiences prior to going to trapeze. I told that story on YouTube about a year ago. The video, I'll link it somewhere on here when I get a chance. And it was a story of how I met a couple at trapeze and I had a great time with them. I had lots of fun, but they had kind of a weird I liked him, I liked her, I liked them together, but their dynamic together was a little toxic. It was a little off. And I've thought about going to see them again. I mean, I know how to find them. I know where they'll be every Saturday night. And they were both exceptionally good looking. Like I watched The Substance over the weekend finally. It was like such a stupid movie. And I realized that girl looked just like Demi Moore. Like she had the same pretty smile and pretty eyes. But again, their dynamic is between them is a little toxic. And there's some other reasons why I'm not hyper interested in seeing them again. The couple I met at Miami Velvet, the Texan couple, they were fantastic. They opened up and they told me that they had shared a girlfriend for like 18 or 19 months with each other and that they both loved it. They both loved the dynamic with her. They both enjoyed spending one-on-one time with her and then doing things together as a group. And they made it sound so cool, like so romantic. They made it so romantic, like not just for them as a couple, but for like a third party, a unicorn like me. It just sounded really nice. And I already know that I like being intimate with a couple at the same time. So but that was like a year and a half ago. I didn't think about pursuing it until recently. I got really sick in September. I think I shared part of that story. And I had a lot of time to just slow down, think, read, catch up on some articles and news stories and trending terms and topics. So I'll talk about those in another video. And I thought about like, what do I want to do next? What kind of like little sexual adventure do I want to go on next? And I said, I want to find a couple. I want to date a couple. So I've been hit on by a couple on Instagram. There's a local couple on Instagram that's hit on me. I've not met them. They're, I think, my age. They're about my age, and they're both attractive and they're both experienced swingers. But for some reason, I didn't feel like any excitement. They're attractive, but I didn't feel any excitement to like meet up with them. Then I found this couple on a subreddit, like a swinger subreddit. And they said that they were like a happily married couple looking for a third. And again, they were good looking. He was in shape. She was dressed beautifully. She had like a really nice blue dress on with the matching shoes. They looked classy and elegant. So I reached out to them and on Reddit, and they asked to see pictures, and I said, well, my YouTube is linked on my Reddit, feel free to check me out. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you're my girlfriend thinks you look really good. And I was like, great, cool. Never heard from them again. I just remembered I just remembered another couple I went on a date with. So remember I told you guys in my advice on what to do before going to a sex or swinger club is to join their online community, join their Discord or join their website so you can chit chat and peruse other people's profiles before actually going to the club and actually meeting them. So I had created a profile on the Miami Velvet website, and I got hit on by a couple. A couple hit on me and they said, you know, he said he's Indian, she's Russian, and they wanted to meet. And I was like, that sounds cool as hell. Like, I have an affinity for both cultures. We're in the same neighborhood, we're from there. So yeah, let's meet. So we met, we had a date, like we had a dinner date. He was an attorney and she worked at a plastic surgeon's office. And they were fairly charming. The problem was, again, their interpersonal dynamics. So she was quiet when we sat down. She was somewhat quiet. So I was talking to him and I'm asking questions to get more information about them. And she starts to get a little annoyed. And she gets up we're at a nice Italian restaurant. And she gets up and walks away from us and starts talking to people at the bar and starts talking to people at other tables. And like, she's an attractive woman. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. So people were, you know, warmed up. They had been drinking. They were pretty toasty. And so like they were chit-chatting with her. And he started to get annoyed, like rightfully so. I thought that it was rude myself for her to get up and walk away while we're on a 3-way date. But I'm like, obviously this is not, it's not her idea to do this sort of thing. It's his idea. And I'm familiar with that dynamic, and I knew I wasn't into it. But the night progressed, and he ordered a couple bottles of wine, and he got drunk, and he started arguing with the waiter about something. I don't even remember what he started arguing about. They got into like a shouting match with each other, and I asked the hostess to go get the manager. And she brought the manager over, and the manager happened to be the owner. And I said, listen, I want to apologize for our behavior tonight. There was a miscommunication between, you know, my friend and the waiter, and we just want to squash it. We don't want anything to like progress past this moment. And so he appreciated that. Like I said, I've worked in hospitality. I know how to handle certain situations. And sometimes that's just to apologize. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get involved in a situation where I have to babysit some grown-ass adults. And the alcohol being involved and this jealousy and da-da-da-da-da-da, not my scene, not my style. The evening went on, and they left, and I was invited to join the owner at his table with his friends. And then that got awkward because the owner's buddy was there with his wife. And I'm sitting there, and I wasn't ordering food. By this time I was like a little tipsy, and I just wanted to sober up before I got home. They're ordering food, and like no one offers me anything, like which I thought was kind of rude because I had been invited to sit there. And then suddenly, like, the owner's buddy puts a plate in front of me, and his wife gets up and storms away. And I'm like, what's the deal tonight? Why is everybody's fucking wife and girlfriend storming off from the table? Like, what's up? I as soon as she got up, I picked up the plate and I put it in front of her seat. I'm like, I'm not that hungry. Like, I don't need food that bad. I don't need to upset her in order to eat. I can feed myself. Thank you. It was a mess. That whole evening was a mess. So that's like what, my fifth attempt at meeting a couple. Recently, a couple reached out to me. They're 36. So far all these couples have been like my age. They're younger, they're 36. He's Hispanic, she's Persian, and they want to meet. They want to meet. So I'm like, yeah, I'm down to meet. They live nearby. They're a young, cute couple. They were high school sweethearts, and you know, they're opening up their relationship a little bit to experience a little bit of excitement now at this point in their lives where they have, like, you know, things settled. And it sounds exciting. So we're supposed to meet. I'm not going to meet them this week. This week is crazy. It's our Basel week. I'm not driving anywhere. But I said I would be happy to meet with them next week and see what the vibe is and how that goes. So I feel positive about this couple. Like, I feel positive about them. Hopefully it'll work out. If not, I'm going to continue my endeavor and see if I can find like a cute little couple to date for a little bit. I just it's something I want to do. It's something I want to explore. So, and I know that like I said, I know that I appreciate that, like, intimacy between it, like a three-way intimacy. So that's exciting. I had gotten really sick. I was really sick, and it was something COVID adjacent. Like, I didn't have a fever and I didn't have any body aches, but my nose ran like a faucet. I had brain fog. I had extreme fatigue. I was coughing, sneezing, all that stuff. I think I went through like two or three bottles of cough medicine, like the big bottles of Dayquil and NyQuil. And it took me a long time to like feel like myself again, but clearly I'm feeling like myself again. I also met a gentleman who I don't want to jinx it, but we might be going to a resort soon, like a nude resort. I don't want to jinx that, but that's like something I'm super excited about. So stay tuned and I'll share more of my adventures. Like I said, I've been reading a lot. So I was in advanced placement courses in high school for reading and writing. I won writing awards in college. I wrote for a magazine in Pennsylvania, and then when I first moved to Florida, I wrote for a magazine before getting into the nightlife industry. I just realized I didn't like spending that much time alone writing. So, but I've been reading more articles lately. I've been reading more books lately, and I'm gonna start doing a series here on YouTube where I critique and go over some of my favorite books that have influenced me and in my past, and articles or current books that are attempting to define our current cultural conversations on dating and relationships. I hate to say, a lot of women are not getting laid. A lot of the women authors, a few articles have gone viral, and they are not getting laid, or they are not getting the kind of intimacy that they want, or they are calling relationships embarrassing to be in, which is a sad thing to say, and I don't agree at all. So I want to do a review on that, and then I managed to get a first edition copy of this book that I read in college. I remember sneaking into Barnes and Nobles and reading it. How to Make Love Like a Star by Jenna Jameson. It's a fantastic book. It's a fantastic book. I remember reading it 20 years ago, and I'm rereading it. Like I said, I got a first edition copy from eBay, and it's in perfect shape, and her photos are gorgeous, and I'm halfway through. But it's funny, there's a section called the 10 Commandments on how to give up. And reading that in college changed the trajectory of my life. Thank you, Jenna, for the help. So I want to talk about that. I hope you've all been well, and I will try to be better and more consistent about posting on YouTube. I'm just finding myself, normally I'm a huge supporter of women, and I would read articles like this, and I would 100% have these women's backs, but lately I'm reading, and I can't get behind a lot of the stuff these women are writing, saying it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend now. I just can't get behind that. I can't get behind that. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. And her article, in any case, in that article, she completely negates her own point with the quotes that she gets from people in the article. They completely negate her stance. And the title of the article, I'll talk about it later. I can't, as somebody who worked in magazine writing, I can't believe the editor published that article. But I've missed you all, and I will keep you posted on my little dating a couple adventure, and I'll talk to you soon.